You wanted to say a few things about this New York Times piece from this week, which is titled, "Are Private Messaging Apps the Next Misinformation Hotspot?" Zach, I think you're going to want to show this.
Yeah, we can scroll up. We don't have to look at the ad. So this was a trial balloon floated in the New York Times this week about, now I don't want to frighten people, but their claim is that misinformation can be transmitted over private messaging apps. And there's no way for us to prevent misinformation if we can't read what's in those apps. So things like Signal, where your communication with your intimate contacts is encrypted and therefore unreadable by authorities, is a very frightening prospect.
That is terrifying. You know what we might need? Actually, is some sort of like closed circuit television in every room of everyone's house. They can just keep an eye on things.
Keep an eye on things.
And they can just, I mean, probably you don't want everyone being able to see everything in everyone's room, but like some authoritative body watching
and
what
so
everyone is doing at all times
would
be useful for this.
You can't know when you're being watched, so you have to behave as if you're being watched. How about that?
Well, I mean, if you're in your home, you're being watched.
People are shouting panopticon at the screens of their computers. But okay, this is an obscene claim here that the fact that misinformation can be spread on encrypted text apps is reason for us to potentially eliminate the right to have such apps. And I would just point out, bad people, serial killers, okay? You know what serial killers have used since the invention of roads?
Granola?
Roads. They've used roads, right? You could say, well, the idea that serial killers use roads and serial killers are bad, and we all agree to that, and therefore we need to, have checkpoints on every road. No, there's obviously such a huge price to be paid in freedom yes, I have no doubt that terrorists will use paper. They will use paper clips. They will use roads. They will eat food.
They'll go outside.
They will make vitamin D without your permission. They will do all kinds of things. But in any case, the fact that this article didn't create more of an uproar, I think, is troubling. They are setting us up. This article was
it comes under the sort of heading "Tech Fix."
Yeah, tech fix, right? And the basic
that's
premise.
That's probably one of their usual.
The basic premise
things.
is, of course, we can kick people who say false things off of tech platforms, but what about chat? And again, as I would point out, every single time this idea comes up, those of you who are focused on the fact that untrue, bad ideas circulate in an environment and therefore think shutting that down is a good idea without giving a thought to the question of how do you distinguish wrong things from novel things? How do you take the next big idea, which is still not understood by people to be true? What would have happened, for example, to the lab leak hypothesis if that authoritarian entity, whatever it is, had been able to shut down what it considered a conspiracy theory, which was actually just an obvious hypothesis in need of test?
And how many of those are we living downstream of now?
Right. And how many of those have we had the proper inquiry shut down because somebody appointed themselves the truth czar? And in fact, I believe truth czar is proposed in this absurd article.
No.
Yes.
No.
Well, it's certainly proposed in,
You keep talking. I will search on truth czar.
I think czar would probably cover it. Did you find it?
No. I mean, unless they're spelling it the Russian way.
They are, I believe.
No.
All
Neither of the ways that I would spell czar.
Different article.
Okay.
Different article. Okay. That's it. I just wanted to call people's attention to the fact that encrypted chat is the next frontier in rights elimination. Yep.